Hey everybody!
Hello, hello.
It's been some time. I am Caramel.
And I am Chocolate.
Guys, we just saw Joker. Yeah, we just saw Joker. So, let's not waste any time. I believe it is Brittany's turn to start. Because I got a feeling this video is about to be long. So, we're going to get right to it.
Which, you said his name is Jose Phoenix?
Oh, shoot. Look, I saw Jaquan Phoenix. That's what I saw. Now, I want to know how to pronounce his name. Who played Arthur Flex, a.k.a. the Joker.
I'm Googling it right now.
Who played the Joker 2019?
The cast of Joker includes Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
He is... Okay, I'm happy we pulled this up because I did like her. Oh, this poor girl.
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. I remember her from...
Joaquin. That don't look like a Joaquin. He
Joaquin Phoenix. Where he from?
Mm-hmm.
Is he a person of color? I don't know. So we just, like Sherelle said, we just saw Joker. Joker is a take on the Joker from Batman. And this is a movie that is supposed to be telling you about his life that has brought him to the Joker we all know and don't love. Because he does things. And so he is this individual, this young man. You get a chance to see just the tumultuous life he's had that has brought him to the place where he is. And the movie is dark. But I feel like all Batman movies are kind of... Gotham City in general is just a dark place. So the movie literally is dark. And the nature of it is very dark. I do not recommend this movie for children. Not even a little bit. But you know, to each his own, right? What you're going to do. All of the characters... There were no characters in this movie that I said to myself, the actors and actresses, that I was like, they should have chose someone else. Someone else could have done this role. They casted this movie perfectly. It drew you into this world of this man. And I love when movies do that, where you as the viewer can't separate fantasy from reality. You're in it. You're in it with them. And you're feeling everything that they feel. And so it gives you this moment that we've talked about before on here, is that the sympathy you start to feel for the villain. You start to get them and understand where they're coming from. Doesn't excuse their actions. But you understand what made them break, in a sense, or their view. This movie really is, although it was set in a time that was about 30 years ago, something along those lines, 30, maybe 40 years ago, it's still very remnant of today, what's going on, and how the separation between the rich and the poor is just growing. The poor just get more poor, and have access to less, through things that are supposed to be state funded and government funded and all these different things, how they will quickly take away these programs, and leave people out to hang. And so it was definitely a movie that, I don't know if that was their goal, but it definitely had political points in it, that were very needed. Always just this fight against the powers that be, right? That's always the fight. I will also say that it's a gory movie, in a sense. Well, not in a sense, it is gory. It's not Quentin Tarantino gory, where like somebody is shot and like the blood is like all over the room. It's like no one's blood does that. But it is gory in a sense that violent things happen and then they just happen. And so it's just it's just crazy. It feels like there's no rhyme or reason. I do feel like this movie talked a lot about bullying. bullying is not something that starts and stops when we're younger. Bullying continues as we get older. It just takes different forms. And so this movie definitely spoke to a lot of that bullying as well. So definitely the division between the rich and the poor, the parts of, and how also the movie division between rich and poor, also the bullying, but also about oh gosh, I just lost it. But more so about the effects of what can happen to someone that goes unchecked, or they go, I don't even want to use the word checked, but they go
untreated?
Untreated is the word I'm looking for. Just how detrimental that can be. But I think also something about this can bring in pharmaceutical companies. The Joker in this movie, he was on 7 medications. That 7 medications alone, even if you do need them for stability, it has to have some side effects on your person. Not in a good way. You're mixing these different things. And so that was something that gave me pause and caused me concern. Just watching the movie, like, there are real people out here that are dealing with this and going through this. Now, that also brings up the mindset, do I feel like there should always be laws where people, they can plead insanity and these different things? This movie, to me, would challenge that thought in the sense that the Joker was very clear about everything he was doing and why he did it. Although there was definitely mental instability, and we always use this as, this person, we say it so flippantly, right? Oh, they're crazy. But no, people know what they're doing when they do it, in a sense. So even though he may not have had the ability to stop himself, or he couldn't rationalize the thought like all of us who will deal with something, so he was acted on it, I still go, you know what? This insanity plea, we really need to discuss it. Especially since we don't have a system that's set up to really, truly rehabilitate people. We don't have that. We don't have a rehabilitation system. Now, it wasn't created for that anyway, but that's another video. So, yeah, that is this. I'm sorry, this is not going to be a happy review, as you can see.
Look at our faces.
It's like it just bright. It was we watched the movie concerned about the planet. And as my last piece, when I was telling my uncle that I was coming to see the movie, I was like, oh yeah, me and Sherelle, we're going to go see the Joker. He was like, be careful, be safe. Because I didn't know. I haven't been watching the news lately and all this different stuff. He was like, they stopped that movie from coming out in some places because they were afraid that it would incite mass murdering. And I'm like, it's a movie. But then, after watching it, and it's that's what I wanted to say earlier, how those who are underprivileged and underserved, how sometimes they have to do something that's so out loud to just be heard, to get their point across, that it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So, yes, this movie, it brought up so many topics and so many issues. And Joaquin Phoenix, listen, when I see you, I'm going to dap you up. And I told Sherelle, I said, I hope, because especially with the death of Heath Ledger, that he was under true evaluation while he was studying for this role and going for this role, because he played every part of it, honey. He played every part of it. All right, I'm done.
I have so much to say.
It's so much. It's so intense.
This movie was very intense. It was very dark, very disturbing. Like, I left out with a heavy heart. Blood pressure was up. I don't know if it was from the buttery popcorn, and I don't know if it was from the movie.
Me too. namaste after this.
Yeah. Typically, I don't care for movies this dark. But I knew it would be. I mean, it's Joker. There's nothing light about him except for those creepy jokes he be telling, which those are even evil. But I've been following Batman since I was a little kid. He's my favorite superhero. So Batman and Robin is like peanut butter and jelly. Like you can't really have one without the other. And so I had to go and check it out just because of that. I agree with everything Brittany had to say. This movie, man, Robin Williams, and I probably said this already before, but he mentioned how every villain is a hero in his own play. And that has been an ongoing theme in a lot of movies lately, especially where we're seeing the villain's perspective. Because they do have a perspective. They've gone through some things too, and in their mind, whether it be corrupt or to you or not, they are serving some kind of justice in their heads. And that's what this movie was about. He had the most going on. He had so much going on. I'm like, look, I'm gonna just turn into Joker for you because you just go ahead. He just had the most happening back to back, no chill at all. And it reminded me of this idea that I had. There's a gospel song where it says, I've learned how to suffer. And that song has kind of taught me that life is about learning how to suffer and learning how to cope and learning how to get through struggles, because there will not be any chill. very little chill. So, I haven't conquered that, but that idea is a thing now for me. It's just understanding that it's about coping, and even if you know God, if you know Jesus, you know that he had to suffer. So of course we know mental illness is a big component of this movie. So I want to encourage people to please seek care, whatever that means for you. Therapy, medication, a support system, whatever. And it could be a multitude of different things for you. Maybe you need to go here. Maybe you need to do therapy in the morning, a massage in the afternoon, a good meal in the evening, at night, talk to your best friend. Whatever you got to do to kind of have that self-care piece for you. That looks different for everybody. Joker had a journal. He had a journal. And he went to therapy too, but so he was trying. He really was trying. But you can't give up the fight to be a good person and to have a positive, crime-free life.
I mean, just out here doing stuff.
Now, I will say with therapy, it is very crucial that you assess who you see and make sure that they're giving you giving you what you need as far as self-care. If you are leaving out of there feeling worse than when you came, then you probably should get out of there, because even that situation could be an abusive type of situation if you allow it to be. That goes for church, whatever your thing is. If you are not leaving there feeling refreshed, now of course there's going to be some times where you're going to feel, what's the word I'm looking for?
Convicted.
There's going to be times where you feel convicted and you got to make some changes and it's going to be uncomfortable. But that should not be the regular every time thing. So that's important too, because Joker had a therapist or two. Yeah. And he still flew off the deep end. Yeah. So I ain't gonna go into too many details. I was wondering if we should have had spoilers, but
no,
we're not. We are not so far.
I guess we didn't start off. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we're talking real general, I guess.
Yeah, we might have to do another one with spoilers at another time. Listen, 'cause you know what though? I was Ubering this guy. There's a white guy, and he told me that black women are easier to talk to than white women. Watching this movie reminded me of him. And I said, really? I'd never heard that before. Never even thought of that concept at all. Now, in this movie, Joker had a crush on a black girl. Spoiler. A little bit of a spoiler. You can kind of... You can probably catch that.
Commercial.
Yeah. But it reminded me of him saying that, and I thought that was interesting. And I asked him why he said that, and he was like, he said, black women allow you to just be real. They allow you to just speak your mind, to feel, pretty much like to feel your feelings in a sense, and they just allow you to just say how you feel and let it be real. He said with white women, you don't get that. It's kind of like everything's kind of sugar-coated. Everything's kind of phony. You can't really be yourself. It's like, oh, don't feel that way. You know, they don't know how to deal with that. And I thought that was interesting. I pondered on that for some time. But then when I watched Joker, it reminded me of the conversation. Because I'm like, she was being real to him. And he was being real to her. And he felt free to do so. And she allowed him to feel free to do so. And I thought that was interesting how that played out. I don't know. There was some other... Listen, Send in the Clowns. I know Frank Sinatra sung it. My mom has sung it. Same. Yeah, my mom has sung it. And I watched a lot of show tuney type stuff with my mom, so I've heard the song a million times. But that song is now tainted. It does not feel the same anymore. Yeah. It just does. It's tainted now. So yeah, the movie, like she said, is not for kids. It's not for anyone with a weak stomach. It actually wasn't as violent as I thought it was going to be. It was violent. But it wasn't as violent as I thought. And it wasn't as gory as I thought. Which I'm glad, because I don't like that kind of stuff. It was those things, though. Please don't get me wrong.
Right. I guess it just wasn't as often.
Yeah. So maybe that's what separated it from being an actual horror film. Mm-hmm. I don't personally like horror films at all. I don't go and see them. So I guess this was just a few steps down from that. Close. But a few steps down from that. And, I ain't gonna say nothing about that part. There was some twists in this movie that I was like, oh, that's juicy. I never thought about that.
Listen, delusional.
Listen here. That was good. Nobody ever thought about that. That was real good. So, one more thing I want to talk about. So I watched a review and they were talking about his laugh and how he worked on his laugh, because everybody knows Joker has a distinct laugh. Each Joker has a different kind of laugh. Each Joker has a different take on their smile, how they're bringing out this joy with this darkness. That each person has a different approach. And like Brittany said, I hope they had a crisis team there for the actors and actresses.
Handle this a little differently.
Yeah. But the laugh that he created was bone chilling. And he would laugh, but it almost sounded like it hurt too. It was something in that laugh to the point where he's like kind of choking. This laugh is choking him. It's hurting. And I thought that was a very clever take on the Joker. And I'm always intrigued to see how a person, because you see these certain characters, they you see them a million times, but for each person to take the character and do their own thing with it, I'm always intrigued by what perspective they're gonna take. So he was phenomenal. How do we say his name again? Because I was gonna call him Jaquan. Okay, that's how it looks. Joaquin Phoenix is an outstanding actor.
Did a great job.
There was not usually, and look, I swear I got adult ADD. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat. I'm thinking about my laundry. The whole movie, I'm just like, bam.
I did fall asleep.
She fell asleep. I did not. Girl, he held your attention the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he was excellent. There's not one time I was like, yeah, right. No. I guess that's it. That was
okay.
That felt long. I feel like there's more. If more comes, I'll say something.
2 things I thought about while you were talking was, 1, be nice to everybody.
Oh my God, please.
It will serve you in the end.
Yes.
will serve you in the end. There's no reason to be rude.
No,
there's no reason.
Just be nice.
Be nice. And another thing, what also made Joaquin, what was his name? Joaquin Phoenix, a great actor, which I could see him getting something for this movie.
Yeah.
And I would be in concurrence.
Yeah.
I would concur with them doing that. What made him another skilled actor is that he does not, sorry, I was a little warm. There were times where he didn't have any lines. And he was still captivating.
Mm-hmm.
To keep someone's attention when there are no words, that's not something that you just, he might have learned that and practiced that, but that he did very well.
Yeah, he did.
He did very well, not having any words. So that was another thing. Those were 2 things I thought about while you were talking.
It's important to have crazy friends, y'all. So when she said be nice to everybody, please do. Because those crazy friends, they'll look out for you. They'll let you slide.
Listen.
They'll have your back.
They'll be looking out for you and you don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
So takeaways?
This was something else I wanted to say, and it goes with the takeaway. Be cautious in how you feed your trauma. Because in your darkest moments, when you are feeding it, if you're still feeding it anger, negativity, violence, you won't have an ability to step out of that. You won't have an ability to conquer and just be the better person that you can be. Come up out of your depression or any of those things. I can't talk. So you got to make positive investments in your life. Feed yourself self-care and positivity and whatnot, because if you continue to feed your trauma, it can get out of hand. So that's my thoughts.
That's good. Yeah, the takeaway I had was just that, being nice to everybody.
Being nice to everybody.
Being nice to everybody. Like,
so important.
It'd be nice to everybody, and that's just, because I don't know. I guess I've always just had the disposition that everybody has a story, but also that everybody should just be treated fairly. And so I don't care, who you are. You've really had to do something to me to make me go, and we're done. Exit stage left. Because I remember I would tell my brother I was done with somebody. He was like, what did they do? Because you give people 1,000,000 chances. And I was like, they did 1,000,001. And so, so that's what always, I mean, just not, you treat somebody that has money with respect the same way you would treat someone that doesn't have money. Because ultimately, they have one thing in common, and it's that they're human. That's just point blank, period. And I know we live in a place that values these things more, but just a reminder that, and I'm not up here like, doing some all lives matter situation. I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is that everybody deserves to be treated with respect. So, and to be treated like they are a human. So, yep.
Depression is real.
Mm-hmm.
Depression, anxiety, mental health, it is real. And I'm glad that we're shining a light on it more and more. I was telling Brittany that this movie reminds me of Frankie and Alice. And there's a few movies about mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
there was that one movie where all of his personalities met. Identity. I think it was called Identity. Old movie. It was on VHS. All his personalities met in a hotel. Yeah, it was like, and I think he had 7 or 10. I was living in this one man. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that.
I can't. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Go see it at your own risk.
At your own risk.
But
okay? Don't take your kids, though.
Right. And don't go in with like, oh my God.
And if you're heavy in your heart, don't go and see this movie.
Don't go
Make
see
sure
that
that you're in a settled place. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically.
Or you
mentally.
know what? Just watch a review on it.
Yeah. A review's good.
That's it.
A review's good. Because you will leave feeling heavy. But I just really thought this was a very creative take. Because a lot of Batman movies, Joker fell in some kind of chemical or came in contact with some kind of chemical that made him turn into the Joker. So for this, it was so creative. So kudos to the writers and creators of this movie. It was very creative. I love knowing the backstories or learning different backstories and seeing, like I said, seeing how people's different interpretations and perspectives of stories, especially stories that have already been created, and seeing if they can keep the integrity that it had and its likability and all the different elements that it had, but come up with a creative different spin. So I always love stuff like that. So that's it.
Oh, it does bring up some things of like nature versus nurture. Are some things hereditary, or are some things just our environment? That is, and I think about now all of the medications we have and the things people are on starting young. What will that do to the babies that are born next? What are side effects to that? What will happen in the mind of the generations to come now that we have access to so many drugs. And I'm not just talking about drugs that you get at parties and all this. I'm talking about legal pharmaceutical drugs, like the things that we're taking into our bodies. What effects will it have? So
this movie, there's another thing I want to say. It had its own little dark, twisted way when it came to this, but finding yourself.
I can see that.
Finding yourself
I can see that.
was a theme in this movie.
And being comfortable with it.
Being comfortable with finding yourself. He went through life feeling unseen and feeling unheard. unfortunately, very dark and evil things gave him that satisfaction, that adequacy that he was seeking.
Yeah.
That
validation.
Yeah.
That love, respect, honor.
Very dark and evil things gave him what he felt he needed. But there was a message of kind of finding who you are and being who you are and finding true happiness. In a sick way.
Listen, and if you are looking for fans, they're everywhere. I've talked with my sister about this. I'm like, there's trillions with a T. There's trillions of people on the planet. All you need is 1 billion of them people to like you. Like, you don't need not even 1 billion. You just need a cool 1 million to watch your videos. Like, that will watch them on a consistent basis. Like, you don't have to get everybody to like you. Let me tell you, this Joker had a following.
Yeah, he did. He had a whole following.
He had some fans.
I thought it was cool how you had mentioned how he went viral. This was almost 30, 40 years ago. But in 30, 40 years ago time, he went viral. With no internet.
Went viral.
No cell phones.
None.
You know, he went viral.
With a message.
Also, the girl we met last night at my show, she messaged me today. She wrote on my comment, she said something like, you have an ability to make everyone feel important and included. And I was like,
that's nice.
Thanks. I think I have that ability too, and I thought that was cool. She doesn't know me. We just met last night, but she peeped it from just a couple, maybe one conversation, a couple things I've posted.
Yeah.
But that is a thing that I do consider to be a gift, and that's something else. And with this movie, he experienced a lot of rejection. He wasn't included in anything, really, except for till after he started being evil.
A false sense of fellowship.
So sometimes you may not even be mean. You might be being nice, but you might have a way of making people feel like they're not included.
Yeah.
Or like they're not important.
Yeah.
Even when you're not trying to.
Even when you're not trying to.
So just mindfulness, and just paying attention to people who might be hurting around you.
And you can't save everybody, right? You can't talk to everybody. You can't do any of those things, but the ones that you do have access to. And you're not a superhero, right? And you're not called to go and fix anybody's situation, but you can still be there. And not be a butthead.
You can provide resources. Hey, I know my homegirl, she's good at this, or my one friend sees a therapist, I'll get the number for you. You know, maybe you have resources. If it can't be you, maybe you know somebody that knows somebody.
Yes, somebody.
So, yeah. That was the Joker. So we have our candy bar rating.
Fine.
Okay. 1. You ready?
Yeah.
Let me give you some time.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. 1, 2, 3,
5.
4.
You gave it a perfect.
That movie was good. It was so good. It was dark though. Like I said, I don't like to put my psyche. I don't like to involve my psyche in all of that. Like I'm a single woman. I be out here in these streets Ubering and stuff. I be trying to keep my stuff, squeaky clean. I like Butterflies and Rainbows. Show Toonie movies.
Listen.
Batman Save the Day movies. You know, typically I like that kind of stuff. So it is dark, but I thought it was genius how they put it together. And the acting was on point and it was engaging. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Nice. I think it lost a candy bar for me because I don't know, because I fell asleep at some points, so it did lose me at some points. I don't know, maybe because I was sleepy, or maybe because it just lost me at some points. So I couldn't give it a true perfect, but I think the whole 4 was for Joaquin. Like, I think the whole 4
Joaquin, man,
was for him. Like, I think it was for him. But yeah, I don't. And probably because I like certain movies. I also rate off of, do I want to go see this again? And I do not want to go see
I don't want to see this again either, really. I don't want to. Well,
I don't want to see this
if it was at somebody's house.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to the other room.
You would go in the other room?
I just feel like, alright, I got the point. Cray.
I would watch it again, but not. I wouldn't be trying to watch it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
I wouldn't actively be seeking to go see it again.
Right. We're not promoting bootlegs because this movie is new. We're just saying in the future.
If a friend said, if a handsome young gentleman said,
oh, well, now that's different. You see,
I bought you a ticket to go see Joker, I'm going.
You're setting a scene.
Yeah, if he says,
setting a
come
scenario.
hang out. You know, a handsome young bachelor says, come hang out, let's watch Joker. I'm not going to be like, well.
It's different.
Yeah.
We're getting into different things now. All right. Well played.
But yeah, no, that movie is a one-time. You don't really need it again.
Listen,
you don't really need
I don't
it
know
again.
if it's sinus pressure or this movie, but I got headaches right here.
My blood pressure, I was right here.
like,
I was from here, like, blood pressure was pounding. So
oh my goodness. But yeah,
it's
I probably
intense.
should have given it a 4.5 at least.
Girl, do you, boo?
I'm thinking about just the fact that that's why I was struggling, because I was like, it took me into that world and it dropped me off. And and I can appreciate when a movie does that.
He did that.
Right, he did that.
Because a movie can do it, and sometimes the actor doesn't really have play a role in it. But because
the room is just a room.
He grabbed you like you're watching Joker today. Whether you're
about to learn this life.
Yeah,
he was a little cray.
Joaquin.
Listen, that's what the people down the street do. We don't know how to say his name.
Jaquan. I thought I swear I would have put money on it was Jaquan.
And I remember him from, well, my phone died, so we won't know what I remember him from right now.
She can write it in the comments for y'all.
Exactly. But I do know him from other things, but M. Night Shyamalan.
Never saw it.
The Others. I think it's M. Night Shyamalan, The Others. I think it's The Others. I think that's the name of it. And that's the one that had the aliens in it that came. I love M. Night Shyamalan. I love horror movies that make you go, oh, okay.
You like to think.
Right. Not horror movies that make me go, I'm looking around my corner when I walk into the house. I'm that shirt sitting over there looks like a goblin now. Like, I don't like those kind. But horror movies that make me go,
yeah, there's different styles of horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching Remy Ma and Joe Budden's podcast, and she was like, I don't like ones that make me think. I don't even want to think. I just want to see them get their head blown off. I'm like, okay, Remy Ma, girl. That's my girl, but she's so thugged out. I'm be like, oh. But
I do not like that podcast.
Girl, it's annoying.
I was like,
It's
I
annoying.
watched it like half a time, and I was like, Joe Budden, no.
He gets on my
I
nerves.
cannot watch you. I was like,
Have you watched it since they got the new girl?
No.
It's a little different feel, but how he used to treat, how he treats Jinx, and how he treated her. Yeah, he did. He would compliment Remy and not say nothing to
her. It was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
It used to bother me, and I was like,
yeah. But then she was too emotional to be on a show like that anyway. But that he was.
You gotta have
treating
a
her
tough
wrong.
skin.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a tough skin.
Well, they got a whole new girl, and she's a lawyer.
Oh. Oh, so she's not even like hip hop.
No, but
nice. That's good.
So I don't know if you'll like it now. I won't say that, but it is a different feel.
I wouldn't mind trying it out.
Dynamic.
Because I thought the concept was nice. You know, having these two hip hop heads and then two people that are like regular or not hip hop. They're not in this music industry in terms of being artists. Like, I was appreciating that, and I tried, and I said, I cannot do this. This is not for me.
Yeah, it's a excuse me.
He's probably scared. She'll check him.
Yeah. So she was on there like, I don't want to think when I watch my. I don't want to think when I watch my horror films.
See, and in the movie, The Others, at the end of it, the man, he was a pastor in a part of the movie. Well, Mel Gibson, in the movie, he was a pastor. He lost his faith and lost his way after his wife died very tragically. And by the end of the movie, he had got his faith back. The movie was deep. The movie is deep. I think it's called The Others. But that's where I remember him from. He was the brother in that movie.
Interesting. He's so good. You almost want to say you'd watch it just because he's in it. Anything, but I know I won't just watch anything. But he'll make you wonder.
That
like,
concept, though.
Yeah, like what is he in another one? What's this about?
That speaks a lot to your art.
I think he's coming up to be one of the greats. I don't know where he stands now because I'm new with him, but he seemed, just like I said, this performance.
Just takes that one role.
This performance gives me the idea that he's up there in the upper echelon.
It just takes that one role. That's all you need, is that one role.
And this is very well could be a breakout role because Joker is very popular. Very popular villain.
And as we're speaking about actors and actresses, rest in peace to Diane Carroll. She passed away a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So, a very pivotal black actress in the black community, breaking down barriers. So, you will be missed, but we do thank you for all you have done for the black community in Hollywood.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we're done now.
All right.
Listen, you heard what we had to say. So if you decide to go see this movie, it's on you now. You know?
Own risk,
it's on
own
you.
risk.
So
Warning sign.
consider all that we said, okay?
Go see it in the daytime or something.
Daytime when you were feeling happy.
Like after
feeling
you've had
good.
some coffee.
Yeah, don't go at night. All right. I am Caramel.
And I am Chocolate.
And we are out of here. Bye.